First time here, most of you, right? What do you know about Bosnia? What do you know about Sarajevo? First impressions? Warm. Warm.
War.
Unusually warm. There are three moments in 20th century which made Sarajevo center of the whole world. You know what happened? The assassination. Like all world mentioned that, and like every history book in the world mentioned Sarajevo assassination. The First World War broke here.
Post my Instagram and then YouTube. Yeah.
We're gonna be YouTube stars.
yeah, like share. Come on.
Survived Siege of Sarajevo as well. In 1992, city was surrounded completely. Army of Republika Srpska managed to get in the city. So one street 3 kilometers away from here was a street where snipers were shooting all the time. National Museum is on that place. It was under the fire. We'll talk about anything you would like to know a little bit more, either about my city, about my country. And first time here, most of you, right? What do you know about Bosnia? What do you know about Sarajevo? First impressions? Warm. Warm.
War.
Unusually warm. I think it's some warm way in Europe in general. Anything? A lot of people relate my country to the war, which is last war, which is happening here in the 90s. Yes, it is, unfortunately, but it is just much more than that. We are a country with more than 230 rivers, a lot of mountains, a lot of forests, a lot of beautiful lakes, and a lot of untouched nature. And this is, I think, with 4 national parks, even though we are just a small country, but 4 totally preserved places in the country. And you can spend days here and weeks. And you don't have to even come to the cities, you can just stay in the mountains. But I mean, still people, they're related to the wartime, and we'll talk about that things. There are 3 moments in 20th century which made Sarajevo center of the whole world. You know what happened? The assassination. Like all world mentioned that, and like every history book in the world mentioned Sarajevo assassination. The First World War broke here. 1984, we hosted Winter Olympic Games. This is Vučko. He is the mascot of the Olympic Games here. Vučko means wolf. Wolfie, basically. And Olympic mountains are just, this is an Olympic city. Olympic mountains are around us. That mountain over there is called Prevenic. 1984 luge, bobsled competition took place. Still it is there, but unfortunately in very bad shape. Because that mountain is a front line during Siege of Sarajevo. Army of Republika Srpska was stationed there, and every day city was shelled. So actually that luge track is now just ruined. And street artists, they made graffiti over there, so it's a kind of piece of art in the mountain. So interesting place. Tourists like to be there. Bullet marks from the wartime you can find almost everywhere. Like almost every building still has remainings from that time. That was Siege of Sarajevo from 1992 to 1995. Even though most of the cities are constructed, still almost every building will have some bullet marks and some remainings from that time. The city was 4 years under the siege. You heard of that. And during that 4 years, all roads that were leading you to Sarajevo were completely closed, and the only connection of Sarajevo with the rest of the world was, you know where? Tunnel. So that tunnel, yes, like Serbia, Bulgaria, Romania, you can see on this map here how big Ottoman Empire was in this area. So actually this is the map of the Balkans, that would be Ottoman Empire. And Bosnia was there, part of that for 450 years. But in 19th century, many Balkan countries are rising. So you have Serbia, Bulgaria, Romania, who are trying to build their states. Ottoman Empire, they have seen that they are losing country by country, and they should not lose my country as well. So in 1878, they made a deal with Habsburg monarchy. So we became part of Austro-Hungarian Empire. And that's what made us a little bit different from the other countries here, because Serbia, for example, Bulgaria, Romania, Greece, they rise against the Ottomans, they build their kingdoms, so their development was slow. Comparing to here, where the Ottomans made deal with Austrians. So there was no demolishment, there was no fights. So just a deal when the Austrians, they just started investing here. But this lasts for a short period of time. This was just from 1878 until the end of the First World War. One shot changed world history. Slavic people, they don't want to be under Austrians, they don't want to be under Ottomans. Idea was to make Slavic state. So after 1999 states, different Slavic states in the area. In the beginning, the country was called Kingdom of Slovenia. At some point changed to Kingdom of Yugoslavia, and after World War II, these countries have you heard of it? Do you know anything about it? Well, it was run by Tito, unique leader of 20th century, guy who used to kind of balance out world relations in 80s and 70s. He's founder of non-aligned movement, third world countries bloc. And Yugoslavian economy was actually focused on the Middle East, on the Far Asia, on the African countries, where these countries were part of that union of non-alliance. So they were kind of third world, which is not does not have to do anything with division and the Cold War, which was very on its peak between America and Soviet at some point. So that's what made Yugoslavia quite interesting and special country in 80s. Strong economy made that there was no much nationalism, even though there was a nationalism during World War II here. People kind of forgot all of that. They were very proud of Yugoslav identity. But Tito's that in the same time marked end of that era, where again different views of Yugoslavia were existing. At one point there was a approach of Slovenia and Croatia, rich countries of Yugoslavia, was very different than approach of Serbia and Macedonia. I'm talking about rich north and the poor south. So rich north was giving away their potential income in the budget to the poorer provinces of the country. And the future of Yugoslavia was seen very differently on the north and on the south. Slovenia and Croatia, they thought that they can do on their own. On the other hand, Serbia, as a very dominant country because of Serb nation, which was very dominant in Yugoslavia as a 50% of the country's population, they were seeing that that country should be centralized in a Belgrade. And when the country is centralized without these republics, it could be maybe better managed and governed. So they could not find a deal. War broke in Slovenia, spilled over to Croatia. It was running there for several years. It ended up that the most brutal war ended on territory of my country, Bosnia and Herzegovina. Bosnia and Herzegovina, tiger skin, mix of all nations. Yugoslavia and small. It ended up that 1 million people lost their homes, 120,000 casualties was there. And in 1994, it seems that country will be divided by Croatian country on the north and the Serbian country on the north and east. International community, whole world says, no, we cannot split Bosnia. We have to save this country. And they forced local politicians to agree about the future of the country. And this is what they agreed on. This is how we look like today. Have you heard of it? Did you see it before? Welcome to Republika Srpska, right?
Yeah.
Did you see it? Yeah. You were confused. You wanted to go back, right?
I was confused.
You almost returned, right?
Not almost, but I was thinking where I'm now.
Where now? So yeah, you enter in the country, the road signs, welcome to Republika Srpska. Weird. So one part of the country is like part of the country, but kind of, we are not part of the country, you know. So that's this entity called Republika Srpska, north and east of the country. That's a Serb entity of Bosnia and Herzegovina. And as they are on the, usually that part of the country is usually near the borders. Borders are state borders, but when you enter, you are in the local municipality. So you're already in the Republic of Srpska. So they will put the state, will put the flag, but when you enter there will be big flag of Republic of Srpska, which is kind of different than the state flag, and you get confused, right? Or big signs, welcome to Republic of Srpska. Anyway, that's one of two entities of the country. So that's 49% of the territory of the country. Another one is called Federation. That's this place here. So Federation consists of cantons, okay? So 10 cantons are there. You are now in Sarajevo canton, that's this one here. L-shaped one. But if you go to Mostar, you'll be in Herzegovina canton. If you go to north, you'll be in Tuzla and Zenica canton. So 10 cantons in Federation, which is 51% of territory of the country. Bosniaks and Croats are living there. On the other hand, you have Republika Srpska, that's a Serb entity. So it makes already 12 governments, right? Federation with 10 cantons, 10 federal government 11, Republic of Srpska 12, right? Then you have a state institutions on the top, common institutions, they call it 13. And one town is critical here. It's called Brčko. Here, one small, tiny city. There live around 10,000 population. Small city. But that city in 1995 remained in hands of international community. Foreigners stay there. They say, well, we will be there. Why? In order not to give and not to connect Republic of Srpska. Because they had connected territories, Brčko was guaranteed that they will not be connected, which means that they will not be able to separate. And in the same time, Brčko became a corridor for federation to connect with the remaining parts of federation. So that town deal was 6 months at the end of the war, 27 years now. Still Brčko is in hands of international community. So Brčko is that kind of a key place. That's a place where foreigners, peacekeepers who are still in the country, they are actually in charge of that place. Okay? So that's 14.
It belongs to the...
It belongs to Bosnia and Herzegovina, but I mean under special status. So that's 14th government, and on top of everything we have something so-called OHR. OHR is our king, Office of High Representative. That guy, he's elected by 20 countries. This 20 countries board, most probably your countries are sitting there, they elect one guy who has supreme powers. Currently he's German. In the years after war we had 15 of these guys, different. In the years after war they used their supreme powers quite a lot. They would force some laws by force, they would sanction some politicians, they would force budget, they could do whatever they want. They made reforms in our police and in the army. But after 2005, which is 15, 17 years ago, the general statement of European Union and international policy was like, this Office of High Representative should not involve that much. Let local politicians find their deals and find their way. But they never found their way. Especially because of the complex government structure, we just got more separatistic movements and ideas that some parts of the country will separate. I'm talking mainly about the Republic of Srpska part, which was loudly telling that this guy is not welcome anymore, that he should leave a country, that he's a tourist, that Office of High Representative is gone, that, you know, his reports to United Nations, he should not give these reports anymore. And this is what happened 2 years ago, when the Office of High Representative tried to give report about Bosnian situation. His report was sanctioned and blocked by Russia. So it was quite tense, you know, a year ago. But situation which happened right now in Europe, that all of us are facing, and the situation with Russia and Ukraine also somehow changed relations here. The Office of High Representative, no one calls him a tourist anymore, and he used this situation now to go even beyond. He is now introducing veto powers and supreme powers quite a lot. In the last several months, his powers were used more than 5 times. So he's trying now to clean the terrain, because it's obvious that those separatistic movements, they had support somewhere else. Europe became somehow aware of that, and they don't want similar situation which already happened in Europe happen somewhere else. So I hope that we are now in the interest of European Union and their countries. Yeah, it's quite complex. Questions?
What's the altitude here?
500 meters.
500.
Do you feel shaky?
No, no, no.
The Republic Srpska,
Yes.
they have their own government, their own rights, different to the rest of Bosnia, or?
They have their own government, and then their central institution is in Banja Luka. And they have their own police, which is different in some way, because police will give kind of strength of the country.
Yeah.
So they have their own police, which they try to arm and to bring it to some higher status than these police. They have their own laws, you know. But
They
still,
have own laws.
they have their own.
And they are different to the...
Healthcare is different.
What?
Healthcare.
Health-
Educational system is different. Healthcare, educational system. You have 12 ministers. But still, for example, the taxation is on the state level. So it pays same amount of taxes here in the Republic of Srpska. But distribution of the taxes is going according to the amount of tax that was paid. So for example, if you pay tax in Sarajevo, you buy something, that tax will come to Federation, and the tax somewhere else will go to the Republic of Srpska. So that's how. I mean, to understand this is so complex. So complex. Trust me, 9 out of 10 people, I bet 9 out of 10 people on the streets of Sarajevo, they don't know who is the president of federation here. It's very, very complicated. So in order to understand that and to go in depth into it, we could just talk for hours just about that topic. But we have much more to explore in Sarajevo. Sarajevo is known as a European Jerusalem. Within 100 meters air distance in my city, you have Orthodox Church, Catholic Church, mosque and a synagogue. We are very proud of it. Sarajevo was mainly built by the Ottomans. So that's what you are going to see here is a city with the very best preserved Ottoman heritage in the Balkans. Then we got Austro-Hungarian Empire, so we got Austrian influence and Habsburg architecture. So Sarajevo is town where at some point you walk in the streets and you think that you are somewhere in the Middle East, and next moment you are in the middle of Europe. So that's the vibe. That's what we are going to cover on this tour today, and I'm sure you like it. But to go into depth into this topic, we created War Tour, which is just about war. 4 hours tour, which goes around the city visiting defender cemeteries, mountains and the scene, front lines, destroyed hospitals, graves of Roman. Sniper Alley, have you heard of Sniper Alley? 4 kilometers away from here. Then we go to Tunnel, maybe you heard of Tunnel. We spend 1 hour in the Tunnel of Hope Museum, and finally we go to Mountain Trebević where you see front lines. I'll present you this, but still about war we will talk, and I already talked. Okay? Questions?
Why your Bosnia have a very less of the beach? Croatia and Montenegro have long line of the beach, but why?
Weird, right?
Montenegro just have a very slow beach here. Why?
Do you know why we have sea here?
Yes.
That's the question. Sorry?
Can you complain?
Yeah, we complain. We says, come on, Croatia, give
Yeah.
us a bit of sea, you know.
Yeah.
Dubrovnik is a key place, you know.
Yeah.
Switzerland of 15th century. They were not Croatia. They was independent state. Dalmatian coast, Venice. So Ottomans were in the backlands, always having good deals with Venice. So they had Venice were on the sea, Ottomans were on the coast, and they were good friends, you know. They were dealing quite a lot. But Dubrovnik at some point was not in good relations with Venice. And they wanted to stay away from Venice. And they made deal with the Ottomans. We will give you some coast, we'll give you some land on the sea, just make it kind of tampon zone between Dubrovnik and Venice. And that's how we ended up. And we not only had sea here, we had even on the south where Montenegro is. But you know, through the history, when Tito introduced Yugoslavia, he says, well, this land on the south, like on this map, you can see that.
Yes, very little.
You can see it on this map, actually. Yeah, you see on the Austro-Hungarian Empire, Bosnia is still having sea even on the south. So that was given away in 1945 to Montenegro, but the northern part was not given, so it remained Bosnia. So that's how we, from 2 axes to Adriatic Sea, we ended up with only 1. But anyways, it's enough. We have our fleet there of apartments, private apartments. Okay, that's all, right? This tour is based on tips, so if you find time at the end to review, to tip, I would appreciate. If not, nobody's going to be mad. What really means a lot is this company, if you find time to review us on TripAdvisor, on Google. Anyway, Guru, this helps us a lot. 2 minutes from your side means life for us, okay? Let's go.
Thank you.
Let's see. Hi. Hello. You're joining us, or?
Yeah.
City tour, and now it's just starting. So our hostel in our roommate together. Yes. Yeah. Anna, yes. Anna is from Germany, Cologne. Yeah, I'm just recording, so it doesn't matter.
What are you going to do with the recording?
Because I do video, and yeah, I post my Instagram and then YouTube. Yeah.
You're going to be YouTube star.
Yeah, like share. Come on. And yesterday is quite hot, almost 40 degrees, and after the rain, today is fresh. Cool.
Okay. Before we just continue with this,
Just 11 days for the access
I'll just
to the
refer to something we talked earlier. Bosnia and Herzegovina, you know. Herzegovina was added to the name of the country after World War II, referring to the title Herceg. So during medieval time, Herceg, Duke, was running lands on the south of the country. Before that, I mean, during entire history, usually Bosnia, after World War II, Herzegovina was added to the name of the country. For us, living in Sarajevo, Herzegovina means south, means warm, means no snow, means Mostar. And Bosnia is the central part of the country. So there are dynamic Alps here, big mountains, which are splitting country in two climate zones, Bosnia and Herzegovina. All rivers from south, their stream is to Mediterranean Sea, so that's Mostar. And rivers from this area, their stream is to Black Sea. Even though we are physically near Mediterranean, most of our rivers, their stream is to Black Sea. So Mostar, oranges, grapes, figs, pomegranate, they're famous for good wine. Herzegovina and Bosnia is more about apples, plums, pears. We are making rakia here. Have you tasted it? So that's all. We are back to 16th century now, and we will make one loop. We make circle, and we will travel through the history of Sarajevo. So we are starting in the 16th century, and we are reaching these days. Behind us, synagogue. 1492, Columbus discovered America. Same year, Spanish King Ferdinand and his wife Isabel expelled Jews from Spain. 200,000 Jews left Spain forever. Reconquista, maybe you heard of it. And the same year, Ottoman Sultan Bayezid was welcoming Jews in the Ottoman Empire. That's how they are here. They are not only in Sarajevo. Sarajevo, Skopje, Northern Macedonia, Greece, Istanbul, Belgrade. But in Sarajevo we got the central Jewish community. Sefarad is Hebrew word for Spain. They brought their culture, tradition, customs. Our Sevdalinka, traditional love music from Bosnia, is deeply influenced by Sephardic music. And they brought one book with them. This is called Haggadah. And Haggadah means story. Book is written between 1350 and 1380. This is coat of arms of Barcelona. So it's coming and traveling through the Balkans. In 16th century, this book got 300 different paintings of God, of faces of Moses and Jacob. So they were looking, they were faces. Jewish people, same as Muslims, they don't believe in idols. There is no face. This book with 300 paintings was different. And actually, it was something special, but nobody cares about that book, you know. It was given for the, and it was kept with the Cohen family in Sarajevo. But when the Austrians arrived here in 1878, they were building our national museum, and one Jewish family decided to sell Haggadah to museum, to kind of make some money out of it. But museum decided to send it to Vienna, and they realized that this is one of the most important books the Jewish community has in the world. Rabbi from Sarajevo didn't want that book to stay in Vienna, and he brought it back to Sarajevo. As of 1910, we call it Sarajevo Haggadah, and it's the most important item in the National Museum in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Haggadah survived World War II. When there was occupation here, director of museum lied that he doesn't know where it is. It survived Siege of Sarajevo as well. In 1992, city was surrounded completely. Army of Republika Srpska managed to get in the city. So one street 3 kilometers away was, from here was a street where snipers were shooting all the time. National Museum is on that place. It was under the fire. People were scared that Haggadah might be burned or it will be gone or something. Nobody knew where Haggadah is. But in 1995, when Joe Lieberman came to Sarajevo, Bosnian president, Joe Lieberman was American congressman. Bosnian president showed him Haggadah, and he showed him that Haggadah survived Siege of Sarajevo. So Haggadah is still with us. It's still in our National Museum. And if you see Sarajevo, if you see Bosnia and Herzegovina, the most important item, the most important exhibit of the National Museum is Haggadah of Sarajevo. We got Sephardic Jews, they spoke Spanish in 16th century, but with the arrival of Austria, we got Ashkenazi Jews. They were Eastern European Jews. They were speaking Yiddish, German. You know, Jewish people, one of the groups went to Spain, one of the groups went to Eastern Europe, Russia, Galicia, Poland. They lived separately for 500, 600 years. They had very different lifestyle, you know, even though they were Jews, there was a one book, but still, many things were different. You don't have place in Europe with Sephards and Ashkenazi together, except Sarajevo, in 1900. They are here, but they were not big friends, come on, you know, they lived separately. Ashkenazi are coming here as investors, you know, rich people, entrepreneurs, people who studied European universities, Sephards from Spain, they spoke Spanish. We had 2 Jewish communities in Sarajevo. Before World War II, there was still kind of important who is Sephard and who is Ashkenazi, but after World War II, it was not important anymore. So now in Sarajevo, we have totally mixed Sephardic and Ashkenazi community. But you know, World War II was very hard, and the Siege of Sarajevo was time when most of Jews left Sarajevo. So today we have around 1,200 Jews in the city. There is one story here, picture taken during World War II. On the picture you can see 2 best friends. This is Zainaba Haggadah, Muslim woman. With her wheel, she was covering the armband of Rivka Kabila. Rivka was a free person during World War II, her Jewish friend. Zainaba Haggadah risked her life to save her best friend during World War II. They lived together, they were best friends. 50 years later, Siege of Sarajevo started. City surrounded. Rivka Kabila with other Jews left Sarajevo before war finally broke here. She lived in Israel. And over there she was telling that she survived World War II with the help of her best friend who needs help now, because Sarajevo is a surrounded city. In 1995, Yad Vashem Museum managed to help Zainaba Haggadah and her family to get out of Sarajevo. As she helped her friend during World War II, her friend helped her now during Siege of Sarajevo. Zainaba Haggadah is the first Muslim woman in the world that got Righteous Among Nations.
What?
Righteous Among Nations is a award that's given by Yad Vashem Museum and State. Yeah. So non-Jews helping Jews, you can get citizenship, pension, and many other. Interesting. You never know when it's going to pay off. Good deeds, we should always do it. You see, 50 years later, she was helped by her best friend. Questions?
Can you introduce the Second World War, the famous story about the water project Sarajevo? It's very famous in China, yes. Everybody in China, they know.
Yes, actually, as the city, there is one movie,
yes,
which is the most popular movie in the world.
Yeah.
Sorry, not most popular in the world, most seen movie in the world.
Most seen.
Why? Because it was made here by Yugoslavian film production, movie production, and it became very popular in China. So obviously most popular, most seen. Stories about Walter, that's a guy, partisan, member of the Yugoslav Liberation Army, who was in the city during World War II, who was helping partisans, navigating them to liberate city. So it's like action movie where he's like helping partisans to find headquarters of the Ustaše rule. Ustaše was a independent state of Croatia, extended hand of the Nazi rule was established here. So under Ustaše rule, there was a headquarters here. So he was navigating them how to liberate city, etc. So some of the movie scenes were taken on the places that we will visit on this tour. So I'll show you there. But actually that guy is, I mean, it's more popular in China than here right now, I guess. Because like here, you know, after the war, the stories of the World War II, they somehow they went to the second plan. So now you mainly educate more about recent war than about World War II. So that's why I'm telling you, younger generations, they would know about Walter, but they would not see this movie. Not everyone would see. But in China they're still
quite famous, yes.
Okay, we can move on this way.
Okay, good. So teamwork. Good.